Hi everyone, this is Sunil Kaul. I have been in IT from last 13 years and I have been in supporting Cisco domain, that is networking, Microsoft and cloud. So I have been involved in multiple projects over there, right from the Cisco domain, Microsoft and cloud. And I also have been involved in multiple trainings for cloud, Cisco and Microsoft. So today I'm just giving you the brief introduction. What are the cloud concepts, like basic concepts of cloud, and then what actually you need to know before you will learn any type of cloud like Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. So let me start that what you need to know and what are the basic fundamental things that you're supposed to know so that you can start with any of the cloud technologies. So I hope that you are able to see my screen here. So let's see that the learning objectives of this is that what are the cloud services, what are their benefits, what are the terms which you are using when working with cloud, what do you mean by public, private, and hybrid cloud models, then what is IaaS, what is PaaS, and what is SaaS. All have like IaaS is an infrastructure as a service, PaaS is a platform as a service, and SaaS is a software as a service. So all these things we need to know before, as I said, that these are the things which we need to know before we can go into the advanced level of cloud computing. So first of all, let's go to this one, that is why cloud services are there. So why we need cloud services? What is cloud computing? That we should know first. So there are basically, when we go for cloud, we may be knowing about what is the compute power, what is storage, what is network, what is analytics. All these together is used for cloud computing. So like if you say, look, there are multiple web applications, maybe Microsoft servers are involved, maybe Microsoft servers are involved, there is definitely that they need some power to execute those applications. So for that we need some compute power, for that we need some servers. So that is there. We need files and databases. For that we need a storage space. Also, once we are in a cloud, that is we are using a public cloud, there should be connectivity between your company and the cloud provider, that is networking. And then there should be definitely to visualize actually at what is the how your data is performing, how we are getting connected to the cloud, what is the performance of the database you're accessing through cloud or applications you're accessing through cloud. So there definitely needs a monitoring system that is also there. So all these terms together like compute power, storage, networking, analytics, they form the cloud computing. As I said, that there are basically three leaders in the cloud providers. We can say basic leaders. Those are Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And these terms are very often used when we go for cloud computing, or we can say when we go for cloud technologies like high availability, scalability, global reach, agility, disaster recovery, fault tolerance, elasticity, customer latency capabilities, predictive cost considerations, and security. So when we say high availability means that if we go for cloud, definitely we will be looking for that whenever we are accessing any services through cloud, we need to know that if any service goes down, then we should have any mechanism that we can use that even if that service goes down, we have some mechanism in the cloud that we can still use it. So there's definitely like redundancies there. So if one server goes down, we can use another server. So there is that should be there, that if one service go down, then there should be some replication or redundancy there that we still can be able to use those services. Then scalability is something we can like we can, as per our demand, we can just do the manual auto scaling, and we can do the manual scaling, like number of servers required at a time. Like if we do two servers this time, maybe in future we use two servers. So like can I? So according to our demand, we can increase or decrease the resources which we use. That is scalability, and we'll be going through these terms again once we go into the cloud computing advanced level. Global reach is that this cloud is covering almost all the countries throughout the globe. It is reaching, like we have got Asia, we have got America, we have got Australia or Atlanta. Everywhere we can see the cloud is reaching there, and we can use those services almost all over the world. And agility is that how, like, suppose we need one server or we need two services, three services, how quickly we can deploy, we can go these services, and in cloud we can get these services in minutes. So once we demand, so within 2 minutes we may get those services, and we need not to wait for hours or days to get these services up. And disaster recovery is something like if the service goes down, and how long it will take us to recover those services. Definitely it should not take days or months to get it recovered. So that should be a mechanism which we also available in the cloud. And fault tolerance is how long, like if we have got fault tolerance, like we have got multiple servers having the same applications running. So if one server goes down, still we can use those applications from the other servers. So that is a fault tolerance. And elasticity and scalability, these are the two terms very often used. Scalability is something which we manually say that we need three servers right now, or sometimes once the load is reduced, then we need only two servers. But elastic is auto scaling. That means depending upon the load, the servers, like if depending on the, it will auto scale the things. It will reduce the number of servers or it will increase the number of servers depending on load. Then customer latency capabilities are also there. So that is again, like as I said, that cloud service has got a global reach. We have got the public cloud almost all over during the whole world. So if we are suppose staying in India, then we can use the data centers which are actually governing, which are actually a part of the cloud, and then we can use the data centers which are in India, so that the latency is less, and we can actually access the resources or services with in much quicker time, rather than getting these services from say from Africa or America, where it latency will be more. So predictive cost consideration. So before we want any of the services or the servers, suppose, or any infra, so we can have the predictive cost there. We can have some calculators, price calculators or something. We can calculate the cost and go for that particular service. And definitely security is a big concern there. So since all the resources are run through for the public cloud, so we are accessing the data resources of the cloud or from the cloud itself. So definite security is there, and so that the other so that our data is not exposed to the other clients. So these are some terms which we'll be using in our cloud technologies. Now see, economics of scale. This is again a term which is used once we use the cloud. So see here, the concept of economics is that like if we use cloud providers, they are basically large businesses. They don't cover a single client. They can cover multiple clients. They give those services. So they have got you can see a lot of hardware they have to purchase, and they have got IaaS as infrastructure on a big scale. So if we want to reduce the cost and gain efficiencies, so it is that cost will be reduced and it will be efficient when we operate it at a large scale. And if we just go for like as a single client, we want to just purchase the hardware and all, definitely that hardware will be having more cost there, but when we go for the cloud, definitely cost will be reduced. We have got two more terms like capex, capital expenditure, which we call as capex, and operational expenditure, opex. So capital expenditure is once we want that, because once we are going for any of the like if we want to build our infrastructure, we have to go for the physical infrastructure upfront. We have to spend the money. We have to have the high upfront cost. So that is, even if maybe in later stages we won't be able to use those and utilize that properly, but we have already invested. So that is capital expenditure. And if we want our own physical infrastructure, then we need to have the upfront cost. And then operational expenditure is that depending spending on the services or products as needed. So once we use those services, then we have to pay. So we need not to pay the upfront cost. Pay as you use, that is the term which is used in cloud. So if we are using those services, then we have to pay. If we are not using those services, then there is no need. We need to pay for it. So it will definitely, the cost with this will decrease. So if we use consumption-based model in that it's used in cloud, no upfront costs. We need not to spend a huge amount of money for purchasing and managing the cost infrastructure. And so we will be paying as we need, and if we don't need it, we can then stop those services, and then there is no need that we have to pay for it. So these types of clouds where we need to focus more is definitely things which you should know before we will go for Azure. So Azure AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, or Google. So there are types of clouds. We have basically three types. One is public cloud. A public cloud is definitely, maybe you heard about it. A public cloud is used almost everywhere now. So where, since public cloud simply say that it is used by the public, so any user, once he has got an internet connection and membership, he has simply to get one laptop and internet connection and get access, or maybe one system, and he can get access to the cloud. He has to pay as per the use. So public cloud, and in private cloud, that is owned by organizations. It's privately owned by the organization. Big organizations can use it. They use their data center. They use, and within the data center can be utilized within the organization. It is not meant for public. So for security reasons, some big organizations use this, like banking sector, financial sectors, they use this. And then hybrid is a combination of both public and private, so that few applications which we need will run in public, and few applications which are not meant to we want that were meant to expose to the public, so that will be accessed privately within their data center. See, now if we compare it, public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. In public cloud, there is no need that, as I said, the public cloud is something which we need not to invest anything for it. We have just have an internet connection, and we need just membership over there, and so no capital expenditure is needed. And once we have access to the public cloud, we can easily access the applications. They can be provisioned in the project depending upon our demand. So we have to pay only for what we use. Private cloud is where big organization have complete control our resources, and they have complete control over security. If security is a concern, then private cloud is is the best, but again, we have to spend a lot on the infrastructure. And then hybrid is more flexible, where we assume about that few applications where there's no, we want to get it provisioned on the public cloud itself, and some of the applications which needs compliance and legal requirements, and we have there is a lot of security is needed there, and they need more controlling. So we can put some of the applications on there on the private cloud itself. So combination of both public and private, that is called hybrid. Now types of cloud services, again, important terms which we are supposed to know. So if we say uh, like we'll be using these things, one is on premises, then infrastructure, then platform as a service, and software as a service. So if you see on premises, which is basically a private cloud, everything is managed by the organization itself. So storage, networking, compute, virtual machines, operating system, runtime, applications, and data, everything is managed by on premises, and that is actually a private cloud. But when we go for the public cloud, again we have got three services over there. We can go for infrastructure as a service if we use this type of service from the public. Then the storage, networking, and compute, that is managed by the cloud itself, and rest of the things we have to manage. You are supposed to manage it. And then if we go to platform as a service, then if you see storage, network, compute, virtual machine, operating system, runtime, these we have to manage, and this is to be managed by the cloud, and rest of the things are to be managed by the cloud itself. And software as a service, again, everything is managed by the cloud except one thing, that you have to just access those applications and all. So if we go for IaaS as a service, this is we have to go for at least for this. This is a basic cloud computing services, and we can use pay as you go model, where we can simply use storage. If we say IaaS, infrastructure services, we can go for virtual machines, renting servers, storage networks, and operating systems, and the rest of things uh, we have to manage ourselves. So we are just asking for servers, virtual machines, storage networks, and operating systems here. If we go for a platform as a service, then we are not just focusing on servers, networking, operating system. We are also getting the development tools, database management, and other tools from the cloud itself, so that we can build our environment for building, testing, and deploying software applications. So if we simply want platform as a service, we need to get that building environment with us, like tools, database management, and all, so that we can simply build, test, and deploy the software applications. Then comes the software as a service. Again, it IaaS and TS all is given by the cloud, and even we just need to access those applications of the internet. For example, Microsoft Office 365, email, and calendars. So if you see regarding flexibility, IaaS is more flexible because just you will be getting the hardware from the cloud. The rest of thing you have to configure yourself. If you want simply to for application development and all, then PaaS is the better one. All rest of the thing, platform management and all, is handled with the cloud. But SaaS is pay as you go pricing model, and users just pay for the software they use on subscription. Also, since you are just accessing the applications from, so everything is managed by the cloud, so you don't have any flexibility. You have to use those softwares. So that's all, and these things, whatever I've covered here, are basically very important. And before anything is to be uh, learned for. So if you want to go for this particular cloud technologies and learn more about it, you have to go through this stuff. Thanks a lot for this particular session. I hope you have learned from this